You have this hunger that you can't explain to people why you're doing the things you're doing or why you're so driven, because it's very different, and it's very different for different people. You're the only one that knows why you're doing the things you're doing, maybe because you don't want to experience some of the things that you've experienced in the past. You don't want to go back to where you're coming from. You sometimes maybe have PTSD from certain experiences that you've had in life, and that drives you very differently from the people around you. So before we dive in, I just want to be clear. This is not a rags to riches fairy tale. This is about me sharing how growing up without money shaped my approach to building wealth and taught me the most valuable lessons about money. So I put out a video a few weeks ago talking about how I bought 2 houses in the last 2 years here in the UK. And while I did get a lot of positive and very inspiring comments, I also did get a few negative, some outright nasty comments. However, some of the comments were around things like, how much is your salary? You're lying. You're from a rich home. You're not telling us. And I really wish that was true, that I was from a rich home, because I'm not. But there are a few things that not coming from money will teach you. And those are some of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video. And one of the first things that you learn really quickly when you don't come from money is that nobody is coming to save you. When you understand what that really means, as scary as it may sound, for me, it became a superpower. Now, I saw my mom while we were growing up do everything, and I mean everything, to make sure that there was food on the table, there was clothes on our back, we were able to go to school, and she was doing it by herself. You see that kind of, resilience in someone that you look up to firsthand. You don't have a choice but to imbibe it. Whether it's conscious or subconscious, it's just something that stays with you, right? You become self-sufficient because, hey, like I said, nobody is coming to save you. If you get help from outside, that's fine, but you're not waiting for that to do anything that you want to do. You start to do those things yourself, so that when someone decides to tell you no, you can tell yourself yes. When someone shuts the door in my face, I just go and build a house with a lot of doors that I can open and close as I choose. Because growing up like that, you don't see anything as impossible, right? Another thing that happens to you when you grow up without money is you learn to be very resourceful. Like, your creativity will be unrivaled because you're able to manage what you have. You're able to stretch what you have. You will be able to do things that, with 20 pounds that people would probably need 200 pounds to do, because you're just different, because you learned how to stretch your resources. You're also able to see opportunities where people see limitations, because you actually lived that experience of being around limitations and being able to walk through them. Another thing is, out of necessity, you start to learn to create multiple streams of income. And when people tell me now that, oh, you're so entrepreneurial, I'm like, you should see my mom, because, she ran and tried her hands on multiple businesses to make sure that there was, food on the table. And the other day, myself and my sisters were talking about the number of businesses and the different types of businesses that she did. We counted more than 10, even though it wasn't like they were all successful businesses, if I have to say. None of them survived, by the way. But you start to see someone try. Regardless of anything that was going on around us, there was something that was constant, was that she was always trying, and it looked like we didn't lack anything, even though we didn't have enough money. You see that firsthand. It's like a muscle that is trained over time, and even if you don't use it, it's there. So those entrepreneurial skills, you start to learn it when you don't have a lot. And we know for a fact that for you to build wealth and build it sustainably, if you're not earning a lot from your 9 to 5, you have to do it by creating other streams of income, by running a business, by creating a service. So that's another skill set and something that growing up in money taught me. Another thing is that if you grow up in a house without a lot of money, if they don't teach you anything, they will teach you how to save. They may not teach you how to invest, but you will learn how to save. And I did learn how to save from a very young age, that regardless of how much you earn, you have to save. So even when I was earning 48,000 naira, I was saving. It was important for me to save. Even when I didn't know why I was saving, it was important for me to save. Now, I did learn how to invest when I grew up, and I learned how to compound my money. And I also guess that, it did help that when I started my career in financial services, especially around credit. And I saw firsthand, people lose their jobs and not be able to pay their debt, not be able to pay their children's school fees, not be able to pay their rent. And being able to marry, the lessons of, saving while growing up with real life experience of the consequences of not doing that, you don't have a choice but to have these habits. Another benefit that I saw with savings for me was that, it gave me options and it allowed me to take advantage of opportunities that came to me that if I didn't have those monies put aside, I probably wouldn't be able to take advantage of those opportunities. A case in question was how I relocated to the UK. I wouldn't have been able to do that if I didn't have enough savings. I came to the UK with a visa that didn't require me to have a job before coming here. I didn't have a family. I had nothing lined up. I just moved. If I didn't have the savings in place, I wouldn't be able to take advantage of that opportunity and I wouldn't be here today. So, these are some of the lessons that I learned. One other thing that I learned is playing the long game, learning to play the long game. Not always going for the shortcuts all the time or for the quick wins. And while that may be good, it's important to learn how to play the long game because that's how you really build wealth. When you don't have a lot, you learn delayed gratification, you learn to be patient. And these are habits that can actually help you to build long-term wealth. But I would say the biggest advantage of not growing up with money is that I have a different kind of hunger for success. And I think I've seen it with a lot of people that I know that didn't really come from money. You have this hunger that you can't explain to people why you're doing the things you're doing or why you're so driven. Because it's very different and it's very different for different people. You're the only one that knows why you're doing the things you're doing, maybe because you don't want to experience some of the things that you've experienced in the past. You don't want to go back to where you're coming from. You sometimes maybe have PTSD from certain experiences that you've had in life, and that drives you very differently from the people around you. And because you're so hungry, you don't have the time to feel sorry for yourself when things don't go your way. You don't have the time or the luxury to feel cringe when you're doing things. You're happy to fail publicly, to feel embarrassed. You're happy to learn from your past experiences, from your mistakes. While people are busy reading books and learning the theory, you're very open to learning from real life experiences. You're also self-motivated, like your motivation is coming from within. You're not looking for external approval before you do stuff. So while others are still planning to do things, you're doing it because you're driven by a different kind of hunger. And I guess what I'm saying right now is if you're at a place in your life where you feel like you're at rock bottom and you're starting from zero, I just wanted to know that it's not a disadvantage. You're actually in training for financial success, and your hunger is your edge, your ability to get creative when you have a problem and solve it. That's your superpower. So start from where you are, save what you can, stay consistent, and remember your current situation is not your final destination. Anyways, I've come to the end of this video. If you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.